Okay, this is our new worksheet. It's called Empirical Formula. You only have 6 problems due, okay, and those are the 6 right here on this side. 1 through 6. What's on the right-hand side are notes, and then what I attach are my handwritten notes if you prefer those. Right here. There's the handwritten ones. Okay. I'm going to start with the notes on this side right here just to make sure it's clear what the steps are. Okay, you can also turn to page 344 in your textbook and it'll walk you through it as well. So we just learned how to do empirical molecular formulas, okay, and that's when we multiplied our number to get bigger subscripts. Okay, now here we're going to get smaller subscripts. So you're going to be given a percent. So it says, this is an example. So remember, the percent is the same value for grams. So examples are 20% is 20 grams, 15% is 15 grams, 92.3% is 92.3 grams. What you're going to do, step 1, is turn your percent to grams. I'm just going to walk you through it. Turn your percent to grams. And like I told you, whatever the percent is, that's how many grams you have. So if it says 25%, you have 25 grams of whatever that is. Step number 2, you're going to convert your grams to moles. We know how to do that very well. That's the easiest one. Convert the grams to moles. Per element. I'll show you what that means. I'll just go ahead and do number 1 and 2. So here's the question. You're going to find the empirical formula if it's 80% carbon and 20% hydrogen. Okay, so I have 80% carbon and 20% hydrogen. Okay, so according to step 1, I have 80 grams of carbon and I have 20 grams of hydrogen. Now I need to turn these grams into moles. So I should get a mole per element, a mole for carbon and a mole for hydrogen. So 80 grams of carbon, you make your T-chart, and I want moles. I just put 1. If this says grams of carbon, what is this going to say? Grams of carbon. You find the mass on the periodic table. It's top to bottom. Do we multiply or divide? We're going to divide. So 80 divided by 12.011. And that gave me 6.66056. 20 grams of hydrogen. I'm going to find the moles for hydrogen. 20 grams of hydrogen. How do I find the moles? Okay, whatever I'm looking for goes on my top right. If this is grams of hydrogen, what is this going to say? Grams of hydrogen. What number always goes in front of moles? 1. And to find how much, or the grams of hydrogen, it's on the periodic table. So this is top to bottom. Do I multiply or divide? After I divide, I got... Okay, so these are my moles. This is my moles of carbon, and this is my moles of hydrogen. So now we're going to move to step 3. Step 3 says, we're over here, now you have a mole ratio, 2 different moles, but it is not, they're not whole numbers. So divide all the results by the smallest answer. Okay, this will give you 1 whole number. So out of these 2 moles, remember you're always going to refer to your moles for the rest of your problems. Which one's the smaller one? That's going to be on the denominator. So my smaller one is the 6.66. Okay, so now what do I do with that? I put each mole on top. So this will be from carbon and this will be for hydrogen. So if I divide this, I'm just going to get 6.66051. Now in hydrogen, I got 19.841, and I need to divide by that. 19.841 divided by, gives me 2.97. Because it's so close, you can round to at least one decimal place, so you can round it to 3 to get a whole number. If you cannot round it, for instance, if it was 2.5, you cannot round that to 3, you'd have to do step 4. In this case, it's 3, but we'll get to step 4 in a second, because you'll have to do an additional step if it's a half number and you cannot round. So whatever numbers you get, you apply as new subscripts. You don't multiply or do anything. So carbon gets 1, hydrogen gets 3. And that's your final answer. You would write it. And that's how you do them. So you turn your percent to grams, put your grams into moles, whichever's the smallest moles goes on the bottom, and then you divide by each mole. So one of them is always going to be 1, and the other one should be a whole number. You don't have to multiply or anything. Whatever you get is the new subscript. You do not multiply. Okay, so I will let you practice for these problems right here that are due. And if you need any help, come see me. But remember, these percents are grams, so that's 52.7 grams. Chlorine is 47.3 grams. I started this one for you to kind of walk you through it. Okay, and after that, you change your grams to moles. So grams of K on the periodic table. And for chlorine, you have to divide these two to get the moles. Okay, and just follow the steps. I'm going to let you guys work through that. So again, these 6 problems are going to be due before Friday because your exam over empirical and molecular is Friday. Those are the only 2 things you need to learn how to do before Friday, empirical and molecular.